DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
We're good. We're live. Hey, what's up, Dave?
Are we live? Oh, no.
Yes, you are live. You are live, guys.
It's 7:01 right now. So if we're not live, then the camera's not working. So I think we're live. Hey, Dave.
Someone tell us if we're live.
How's it going?
God, it's going well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's it like up in Canada right now?
It's raining. It's been raining all day. We've gotten more rain in the last 3 days than we've had since June.
Well, that'll help your pomegranate plant behind you.
Okay, so for you went there, did you?
Yeah, we should introduce ourselves. I am Jeremy Brech, DJ Jer out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I run DJ Jer Events and Lighting Design, a multi-op in the Midwest. And what do we focus on? Weddings are obviously our big thing. And we've been doing a lot of corporate stuff. Corporate's been good for us. School events, just, regular AV, that kind of stuff. Wherever we are needed, we kind of show up and we kind of do our thing. So who are you, Dave?
Who am I? How much time do we have? I'm Dave Ternier.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Everyone, I'm Dave Ternier up here in the Great White North, Manitoba, Canada. I run a single op company. Special Request Weddings is my company name. And been at this for a couple of years now. Weddings are the overwhelming majority of what I do. 80% plus of revenue. I'm not sure how that compares at you, Jer, but that's more or less what things are. I take on a handful of corporate in the winter season, that type of thing, because not a lot of people like to get married when there's snow everywhere.
Isn't there always snow in Canada, though?
Isn't there always snow? No, as we just finished talking about before we started live. See, we have pomegranates in Canada.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much me. Actually, Jared, I don't know if you know this, but 20 years ago this month is when I played my first event.
Happy anniversary. That's awesome.
If anybody has an idea how I can commemorate that or celebrate that on my business social media pages, hit me up, because as those who follow me on social know, my business social media presence isn't fantastic.
Yeah, no, mine's not either. Maybe that's one of our topics of discussion on why we don't do a lot of work on there.
We do that.
We were kind of going back and forth, like, hey, what do we talk about? But here's the crazy thing: like Dave and I, we talk quite a bit, and we always have these contrasts of thoughts. But yeah, we also agree on a lot of things. And if you saw in what I'd kind of posted on Facebook, I don't always speak my mind. I sometimes just like to hold things in, because I really don't care that, I don't care about what other people say on Facebook. Like, hey, I'm going to get a gallon of milk, or this is what I think about politics. I don't really care. So I know you probably don't care what my thoughts are, but if I'm going to share my thoughts, this is where it's going to happen. And the cool thing is, Dave and I, we have a lot in common, but we also look at things a lot different. Again, being in Canada, being in the US, being a multi-op, being a single op. In love with Mac, I could care less. So there's a lot of things that I think we're going to have some great discussions on. A lot of things that you do as an entertainer, and a lot of things that I do as an entertainer, and also, why I decided to go multi-op, why you decide to stay single op. There's a lot of great discussions that I think we're going to be having throughout this entire conversation. for the next couple months, or maybe this only lasts a week. Who knows? So
right, yeah.
Make sure that if you guys do like this show, make sure you're watching, you're sharing, you're giving your input, coming up with questions for us as we go through this. So Dave, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what people who keep an eye out with what we have to say will find is that where Jer and I probably have more similarities than anything is probably when it comes to performance related topics, maybe even when it comes to some of the sales related topics, even though sales for a single op and sales for a multi-op can be very different. There's still a lot of areas where you're probably going to find Jer and I agree on things like that. The performance side of things, Jer, if we maybe want to start a little bit at the beginning, the reason I know Jeremy is because we met 2012 in a Marbecca workshop.
Yep.
Maybe. And yeah, we met in a performance workshop. So that kind of is where we first connected. And then over the years, workshop here and there. Then you went and did a Wed Guild thing, and you were a major thorn in my side as I said, no, I don't have time. I don't have time.
Yep. I remember that, actually. I still remember all.
Yeah, Jared pushed me massive to get through that. And Glenn Mackay and Glenn's wife, Miranda, she was a real pain on that whole deal, actually. But
probably put you in a headlock and hurt you too, and that's not good.
Holy God, could she ever? So yeah, that's kind of where Jared and I kind of first met each other and got to know each other. And it's been a pretty solid 5 years, my friend.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing. I don't know if you guys don't know about Canadian traditions, and Dave and Brian Pardwarne. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, absolutely. You got Pardwarne's name right. Yep.
So I saw these two guys in a workshop, and they were like, we've never done this before. And I even said, we in South Dakota, it's very rare that there's an MC kind of running the show. We'll make the announcement, the introduction, like a football game, and get everyone pumped up when the bride and groom come in. And that's about it. And then you introduce the toast, or you hand them the microphone and they just start speaking. And in Canadian tradition, it's usually not the DJ who's doing the MC. It's usually a relative or a close friend of the family that's actually doing that. So these guys, him and Brian, were basically, they just put their heads down and said, you know what, we are going to change this up. We're going to make things happen. And it all started with Marbecca. And Dave mentioned the whole Marbecca workshop, and that's how we met and all this. The thing with Marbecca workshops, I'm a strong believer in these workshops. I'm a strong believer in workshops, period. But the fact that Dave could take materials that he was taught in a Marbecca workshop and basically change what's happening in Canada, to me was just phenomenal. I really have a lot of respect for Dave and Brian and some of the other Canadians that have taken on that role and said, you know what, no, let us take care of it, because this is what we do. We're professionals. We're not just picking up the microphone for the first time. So I thought that was extremely cool. And the last thing I want to end with on that whole Marbecca experience was these workshops. And even if you go to a trade show or you go to a conference, that is where you build relationships like what we have. And I don't know if you're to the side of me. I don't know if you're below me or wherever you are, Dave. But Dave and I and so many people across the country and the world have become strong friends in this industry because of these workshops. So if you're not learning at the workshops, at least make friends in those workshops.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, big ups to Brian. I'm so glad that Brian gets a mention on this first show, this pilot episode of our little Dave and Jeremy chat. Brian was the first guy that said to me, hey, I think we should get into emceeing weddings. And I don't know if I've told you the story, Jeremy, but I initially, my general reaction was, I think you're out of your mind. I really don't think this is going to fly, my friend. Like, I like you. We hit it off right away when Brian and I first met. And then it was attending Mobile Beat in 2011 for the first time. Brian and I, and there were a few others from Manitoba there, and talking to DJs, and all you Americans are telling me that you MC the weddings, and you're all looking at me going, well, who MCs the weddings where you're from? Mr. Dave Ternier from Canada. And I'd say, Uncle so-and-so, like you mentioned. And I remember the looks I got from all of you. It was like, why would you let someone run a wedding who's never done it before? Why would you let someone with no performance training take your microphone for a large part of the evening? Why? And I'm like, Yeah, so it just blew the doors wide open. So yeah, that's an important thing to know for those who don't understand that context. Yeah, I'm Canadian, and that's a huge difference between the backgrounds that Jeremy and I have. I hadn't emceed a wedding in my life up until late 2010, 2011, and world's kind of exploded since. So for all of you Canadians watching, a few of you may have seen something I wrote recently-ish called "The End of the DJ."
That was a great post, by the way.
Yeah. If you want to future-proof yourself against technology, against iPods or whatever the new replacement for that is, Spotify and what have you, becoming, an exceptional MC, someone who's more than just a guy that shows up and pushes buttons, that's the future. That is the single best way to future-proof yourself, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. No, I completely agreed with that entire blog and that post. And when I'm as a multi-op, when I'm looking, so let me back up a second. So as we're having this conversation, this is kind of a teaser of a lot of the conversations we're going to have from now until, this show gets the hook. But again, we're going to talk about multi-op. We're going to talk about traditions in Canada, traditions in South Dakota. But the point that Dave was making was, you have to differentiate yourself, and you can't rely on just music. So the reason I was bringing up that again is because as a multi-op, when I'm looking for talent, I'm not looking for people who know music or who can spin music. I'm looking for people who have personalities and I can connect with a crowd, because I can teach music, I can teach mixing, I can't teach personality. I can't teach someone to go out in front of a crowd and be comfortable on a microphone. So that's one of the things that, in your blog post, you posted that, you have to be a bigger talent than just playing music, because people can go to the bar right now and turn a jukebox on. And what your blog was about was so eye-opening, because the technology is always changing and we always think we're so invincible. But that's not the case. And that was a perfect blog. So if you haven't got a chance to read it, what's the blog post again? DJ with a Thought?
Yeah. For those who are unaware, yeah, DJThought.com is a blog I founded a couple of years ago that I author articles on. I checked actually, Jeremy, earlier this morning. I've just over 80 authored pieces on there now. So, and yeah, The End of the DJ is a blog post that went up there 4 weeks ago, maybe. So for those who are wondering what's going on, I basically invented in my mind this rather detailed and intricate machine learning / AI device that would replace a DJ, and I had fun making it up. It kind of got real in the end, though. I was like, I mean, I think I make a joke in the post that it's version 1.0. I have ideas in my head already about what version 2.0 might look like, and if I can think of this, somebody else out there is. So
yeah, oh, absolutely, someone a lot smarter than you,
right?
That ridiculous video of why Mac made a good decision on not really coming up with anything innovative and all that. I don't know. That was.
Hold on. We'll go there in a minute. I do want to backtrack to something you mentioned, though, Jer. You were talking about, because I think people might get something from this. You were talking about when you're looking for talent, you're looking for specific things. Something that I've long struggled with, and I don't know if you or anybody that's watching can provide me with some feedback, is one of the things that people who book me tell me in their email or whatever, they go, Dave, you just come across as being so passionate.
Yeah.
Can you cultivate passion within somebody when it comes to what we do? Or is that something that's born into us and you either have it or you don't? Is that something you could develop within somebody?
Yeah. And I don't even know what the whole Facebook, follower thing is going on right now with us. So if you guys are asking questions, I apologize. Dave, can you see any questions? Can you see the?
I've got the YouTube window open.
Okay. All right, good. So I would love to hear feedback from other people on their thoughts on that. But my thought is, I don't think you can't make somebody passionate about something that they're not passionate about. You can inspire them, you can encourage them, but they have to feel it just as much as you do. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is, as a multi-op, when I work with certain people, you can tell the people that go out there and they really connect with their brides and grooms. And I'm fortunate to find the right talent to be able to see a wedding like I do. One of my biggest workshops that I've ever taken was the entertainment experience. To me, that was the one that cultivated who I am as a DJ, who we are as a company, and how we look at weddings and just events in general. And I stroke Bill's ego all the time because I truly give him so much praise in what he's done and the creativity of what we do in our events now. And I think when people see how passionate I am about things, it does kind of wear off. They can start to see that, and they start to feel that. They have the same passion. Is it at the same level? No. But that's also why my price is a lot more than what the other guys are. So my guys are priced accordingly because I think they fit in at certain areas, and I think they fit in a certain price range and the value that they bring.
Got it. Okay, let's give people some context because I don't even know. Tell me about your multi-op. So you've got a couple of different guys. Do you give me some context so that people know where you're coming from?
Yeah. So we actually have 8 DJs. The most we'll ever send out is 5. Actually, I take that back because the end of this month we have 6 on the 30th, and we're still getting phone calls. I got a phone call yesterday about the 30th. Hey, are you still available?
Damn.
So really, I should have brought you down. But anyways, we like to have alternates. We like to have backups. So for some reason, if one of our guys gets sick, something happens, extremely ill, funeral, those type of things. And knock on wood, we've never really had to pull that card. But it's that reassurance that we give our couples. To have that person in staff who works for us to actually fill in and take over an event. But the talent that we have, we basically break it down by, we have one level, another level, another level, another level. So there's 6 different options for our couples. And you don't get louder speakers, you don't get more equipment. Granted, the production level goes up because the talent goes up. And they bring a different level of talent. They bring a different level of production as you pay a higher rate. But that's not what they're buying. What they're buying is the talent. And you've met some of my guys. We've got a great team. We're very fortunate to find the talent that we have. And actually, I just interviewed a lady this afternoon. She's actually a bride of ours who just booked her wedding. And she said, "So are you hiring by chance?" And I'm like, "Why do you ask?" And she goes, "Well, I would love to be a DJ." I'm like, "Well, let's chat." So
Nice.
yeah, she's going to start training with us on the 30th, actually. And again, great personality. She's like, "I just don't know the music. I don't know the oldies like I probably should." I'm like, "You know what? I can teach that, but I can't teach a personality."
Right. Just to catch up on some of the comments here. I don't know who these people are. There's this weird name, GNM Event Group.
Sounds Australian.
Does sound Australian. They say passion comes from culture within your team as a multi-op. Mitch Taylor, yes, you can cultivate passion in your talent. And I really liked Neil at Nitro Music. It says, "I think a passion can develop. It may not be there in the beginning, but I could act it, but over time it could become a passion of theirs." Not always. I think people can definitely find a love for what they're doing later on versus right away. You know what?
Sorry, one of the things I can't remember who said it. Someone said acting passion. I don't know if passion is something that can be acted, and I'm not sure if that's how the content, if that's how that was supposed to come across. Right. But you can act passionate, but you're not actually passionate. You're just pretending to be passionate, and I think there's a difference there. And if I'm wrong, I again, maybe I just read that wrong, but I agree. I think a lot of those comments that came in, I completely agree with. I think it can be cultivated into your culture, and I think those are great points. Everybody had great points.
Personal story here. That the comment, Neil, that you wrote really resonates with me, actually, because I mentioned earlier at the outset here that celebrating 20 years ago this month was when I spun my first event. But truth be told, I can honestly say that up until 2008, I probably didn't do it with a whole lot of passion.
Yeah.
Up until that point for me, I was a weekend warrior. I had a full-time job doing other things. I was a $500 guy. I'd show up at a wedding at 9 or 8:30, haul my gear in, set it up. Oh God. cringe now thinking what that setup looked like. You know, and I'd play some music and I'd go home at 1 and I'd be like, oh, what was their name again? Don't matter, don't care, next gig. So I could honestly say that it was in that 2010, 2011 when I met Brian, when I went to Mobile Beat, that my passion truly got unlocked. And I'm going to say I'm a pretty lucky guy that I maybe found that thing, because I think one thing that doesn't get often talked about, nor talked about near enough, is that I think a lot of people hold on in this industry because they want it to be their passion. But just because you want something doesn't necessarily mean it is. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, maybe it'd be like me, and it took the first 13 years to unlock it, right? Find it. But yeah, I do think it can be unlocked after a period of time. I guess it depends how long you're willing to hold out for, and if you're holding out, if the expense of you holding out is causing you liability anywhere else in life.
Yeah.
Because there are some guys holding on for dear life, trying like hell to make a go of it. And I don't know. I don't have the heart to tell them maybe they should just put on the back burner for now.
Yeah. You were going through the list of those people. I have much respect for Mitch Taylor, a good friend of ours. And
yeah,
come on. Super amazing at sales. His sales workshops have always been very valuable for us. And I don't know if he can put it in message. I think it's mitchtaylor.com. Sorry if I'm wrong, Mitch. Anyways,
mitchtaylor.net, I believe.
Yeah. Anyways, it's great stuff. I just don't know what it's called. But anyways, you look at all those people, and I think it was Mitch who probably got it from Bill, or who probably got it from Mark Farrell, that said, when you talk about the passion, you didn't really have that passion until, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. You can do this same wedding 1,000 times. When people say, oh yeah, I've done 1,000 weddings. But if you're doing the same one that many times, that, like I said, the entertainment experience is what really helped me realize that I'm making this one couple specific event, and that's what I'm focusing on. And I'm making their experience. And in the next week, I'm making this experience for this couple. And I think that really did fire that passion. I think that I wasn't just doing the same wedding every weekend. I wasn't doing the same music list. I was actually like listening to their requests. So it was, that was a big page turner for me.
Yeah. You reminded me of something. I had an event last month, and I'm going to admit something that is probably taboo not to, but I'll be honest, everyone, it was a wedding that I wasn't quite sure how much I was looking forward to.
Okay.
And I had a conversation with a good friend of mine in the business, and I made this comment to him, and just what you said about making it their day, Dave, this is their day. He kind of snapped me out of it. He's like, doesn't matter what you think, does it? This is their big day. And yeah, entertainment experience. As much as I learn things, it's so easy to sometimes to forget these things. So I guess my side little tangent here is people keep a community of people close around you that can remind you of these things if you do fall off, because guilty. If I fall off remembering stupid basic things that I really should from time to time.
Talking about that inspiration of passion again, the getting what you're worth. I took my guys to Mobile Beat, and again, that's where you've had the opportunity to meet some of these guys. But I've taken them to Mobile Beat, and they've heard the Getting What You're Worth. I've listened to Getting What You're Worth on disc. Yes, it was still on CD. I listened to that I don't know how many times. And I know there's people out there that are like, oh, CD, I've got it on tape. But again, it's that being inspired by others that recreates that passion. So if you ever, I think, feel like you've left that behind, or you just don't have the passion this upcoming week or maybe the next month, and you're thinking, gosh, why am I doing this? Go listen to Getting What You're Worth. Go listen to so many of the inspirational presenters that have been before us, that are still in the business, and that might be just now doing doing workshops or seminars. Randy Bartlett, I know he's right at the edge of hitting his retirement, and he wants to just kind of kick back and he wants to do more speaking. If you get an opportunity to get these guys in your town or get these people or go see them at these conferences, spend the money, because that little bit of money will give you huge dividends in return.
No question about it. Yeah, no question about it. Let's circle back to something you brought up earlier. I did have a little thing about Apple last week, and a lot of people freaking out about that. Jeremy, you heard about Apple announcing new phones. Did that?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. For those who saw my Facebook Live video last week, yeah, you're right. It wasn't very ranty. I certainly intended it to be more ranty, I think. But I saw, as most of you heard, I'm sure Apple released some new phones last week and a cool new Apple Watch, things like that. And a lot of people, and Jer, you're an Android guy, I know this, which is fine, because I used to be the biggest Apple hater. I don't know if you know that part about me.
No.
Oh, used to mock people incessantly. In fact, my parents had a good family friend who was a Mac guy, has been for 20 plus years. And he used to drive me nuts when he'd go on, and I would do whatever I could to get into a fight with him on the topic, because I just thought these stupid Mac people. Anyway, my point with the Facebook Live thing last week and my blog post from today, we might be breaking up, was, love Apple or hate Apple, damn it, they're doing something right. I mean, they are an $800 billion plus company now, probably going to be the world's first $1 trillion company. Jeremy's laughing because he made a clip about that last time I mentioned it. But it's much like the people you see in the DJ industry who appear to have everything right. If somebody appears to have everything right, follow from them, learn from them. That's how I've chosen to look at Apple. So when I do see people kind of, lambasting Apple as a company or their fans, just something to remember. For some reason, a lot of people want to spend a lot of money on Apple products. Rather than mock it, ask why. Jeremy, comments?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to actually see if I can play a video. I was doing a corporate event, and one of the presenters actually played this video in her presentation on how Apple creates what they do. And I completely agree with you. I think Apple does have something right. They do a lot of things right. When you look at, even in a multi-op situation, okay, so I'm a multi-op. Where does everybody come when they have questions? They come to me. You had Steve Jobs, who made some of the most brilliant decisions from the first Mac that came out, Macintosh that came out back in the 80s, I think even late 70s, right? Or was it 80s?
80s.
Okay. Anyways, so he made innovative decisions on what was going to push the envelope. Okay, you lost your brain. You lost the man who basically created innovation. And to me, probably one of the most innovative people, besides the guy who runs Tesla. Probably one of the most innovative people. Who is it?
Elon Musk. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Now, if something happened to him, do you think Tesla would be as successful? Absolutely not.
No, it would be too early for him to go, for sure. Yeah.
But
it would be.
But I think the industry of phones are changing so much, and I think there's so much innovation that's happening. And now that they don't have that one guy who made so much change in the past, I think you're starting to see a lot slower innovations happening. This was my joke, and it didn't really make sense in your video, but my joke was when you said they don't become an $800 billion company just by doing this and that. I said, no, they make crappy screens on their phones, so they break them and then they have to replace them. That's how they make their millions. They're billions, whatever it is. But I'm going to try and share a video. I don't know if this is going to work or not. So why don't you keep talking?
I can keep talking. Yeah. So, this my whole take on this topic does not mean everyone needs to go out and buy an iPhone. That's definitely not, I've seen this video. Yeah,
right,
so
yeah,
I
here we go.
like that, and I love this is a great video. I'll shut up now.
And I don't know if you can hear. I don't know if you'll be able to hear everything, but I'm going to fast forward.
How do you explain when things don't get
all right?
We have the best house.
So here we go.
This I operate controlled powered man flight. When there were certainly other teams who were better qualified.
Okay, so again, if you haven't seen this man speak, go search all of his videos. Super intelligent and has a really great explanation of everything.
About 3.5 years ago, I made a discovery, and this discovery profoundly changed my view on how I thought the world worked, and it even profoundly changed the way in which I operated it. As it turns out, there's a pattern. As it turns out, all the great and inspiring leaders and organizations in the world, whether it's Apple or Martin Luther King or the right.
And if someone can message on Facebook or on making sure that you guys can hear the audio, I know you can probably read it, but I just want to make sure you can hear the audio as well.
All I did was codify.
I can hear the audio, but it's really muffled, Jeremy. So I'm guessing everybody else is the same way. I can read the text on screen though, too. So,
okay.
But yeah, Simon Sinek is a legend, says Glenn from GNM. Yeah, he's really, really good.
Yeah. This idea explains why some organizations and some leaders are able to inspire others.
I'm just going to copy paste the direct link for this in the comments, Jeremy.
Yeah. And actually, it's funny because you'll see someone changes his mic out. So it's really a crappy mic. So as a DJ, make sure you have a good mic.
Maybe for your differentiating value proposition or your proprietary process or your USP. But very, very few people or organizations know why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. That's a result. There is a result. By why, I mean what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief?
Yeah, we can't hear the audio. Yeah.
You cannot hear the audio?
It's really terrible.
And why should anyone think? Well, as a result,
Ian Moon, great joke, buddy. Ian Moon comments, sounds like the audio is off of an Apple. And Mitch Taylor follows up, must be playing on a PC. Anyway, Google this guy. It's a really great TED Talk. Really great. Yeah.
So here's where he starts talking about Apple.
If Apple were like everyone else, a marketing message from them might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? Yeah. And that's how most of us communicate. That's how marketing is done, that's how most sales is done, and that's how most of us communicate interpersonally. We say what we do, we say how we're different or how we're better, and we expect some sort of behavior or purchase or vote, something like that. Here's our new law firm. We have the best lawyers with the biggest clients. We have, we always perform for our clients.
It's almost done.
That's my laser hat. Leather seats. But it's uninspiring. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy them? Totally different, right?
So that was like I said, that was a video that I got to see during a presentation, and I was like, oh my gosh, that it's not a marketing tool. It's just a way of thinking differently than everybody else. And they did a great job of that. And like I said, you look at the brain behind the whole entire explosion of Mac and iPods and iPads and all that stuff. I just don't know if they have that same push like they did in the past. I think they're still doing great things, but for instance, here is my phone, and I have a camera that actually connects to my phone. Okay, I have the projector. If I want to watch a movie, I can connect it to my phone. Again, this is the Moto Z. I'm not doing a commercial for Moto or anything like that, but there's just so much innovation that they said, you know what? People are always taking pictures with their phone, and they all turn out like crap. People want to listen to music louder. We'll make a speaker that connects right onto the phone. To me, I think they, in the last year and a half, 2 years, probably came out with the most innovative solution for us as consumers. The end.
Oh, Apple. Yeah, there's much to discuss as Apple, but certainly to bring it around to DJs, look, if there's a company out there doing great things, doesn't matter if it's Apple, it might be Disney, it might be whoever. Well, I think what probably separates a lot of people in the DJ industry from one another is there are people who look outside of their industry for inspiration and for business advice and for, business know-how. And there are people who simply stay on Facebook all day. No offense to anybody, but there are people who just stay on Facebook all day and debate whether we should be eating at our events or whether we should be whatever.
And I would like to tell you why I don't eat at my events, but we'll talk about that some other time.
That's another topic, another day. There was a question in the chat though, multi-op, single op, why did you both choose the way you did?
And we have we have like 10 minutes left in this. And that is a great topic that I guarantee will span over about 4 to 5 sessions. Because there's many times, and to be honest, I love my crew, I love my team, but there's many times I ask myself, why do I not just go single op? But then I look at what we're doing and I tell myself, now I know why I'm not a single op. And again, those are discussions that I think we'll have as we progress in this show. I think I've got a lot of things to share. I think Dave, you've got a lot of things to share, and I know we've had a lot of the conversations about this in the past. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Yeah. So for this being our pilot, everybody, we want to kind of know from you, do you just want it to be Jer and Dave sitting down to yak things? I share a lot of my thoughts. Well, Jeremy, you do as well. You do a bunch of shop time videos. So a lot of you might know Jeremy from his shop time videos. How many of those you got now?
There's close to 300 actually.
Dang.
I didn't even know I had that much stuff.
Holy, I got to catch up on some TV here. Jeremy and I both share most of our content in these 2 other ways. Jeremy does this through Shop Time. I do through a djthought.com, which is a blog. So, but I know a lot of what you share, Jeremy, whether it's new Evolve speakers from EV or whether it's something I've written that seems to stir up the internet. A lot of the stuff that we share in those 2 avenues does spark a lot of conversation. So if people want us to discuss here or do they want to do some Q&A, this would be a great place to do it. And maybe it can become a permanent home if John doesn't realize how crazy he was for letting us have some time on his platform here.
And I apologize to all the people who email me and are texting me and Facebook messaging me with questions and things like that. This is your opportunity to ask me all those questions or any questions. And it's so hard for me to run my business, have a family, do all these things. And trust me, it's not that I don't and I'm not willing to help. There's just so much consuming me. And I want to make sure that if you do have questions, again, this is a great opportunity for you to ask the question. I will tell you live on this show and just give as much knowledge as I can that I might have and just help you guys out because I'm not a selfish person. I love to share. Dave loves to share. And actually we want to share the screen. Maybe this isn't in the dice, but I would love to have people on once in a while. I would love to have like Bill Herman. So you talked about going outside of the industry to learn. And you also said Disney, which the same guy jumped into my head twice. Ron Ruth is a great person to learn from, but also be inspired from. He gave me a hard time a couple of years ago. And when we have him on, we'll let him tell that story. But Ron Ruth is a huge Disney fanatic, but he also took training outside of the industry. He took improv classes, which, again, I would encourage people to take improv classes. I wish I had a good improv class here in Sioux Falls, and I'm still looking. I'm not giving up. That's not my excuse. But when it comes to lighting design, people always ask, well, where can I learn certain things, or where can I be better at design? And in my seminars, I always encourage people to go take a color theory class or an art class at a community college. It might cost you $300-400, but it's going to last you a lifetime. That knowledge is endless. So take advantage of those things. That's one of my big things. But anyways, are you cool if we bring some people on once in a while?
I think that's something we should definitely explore later on. Yeah.
So we're going to start with GM Solutions. We're going to start with who else? Mitch Taylor. We're going to
get him up in the middle of the night. Tell you what, just running through a few more, Jared. Just running through a few more of the comments here before we do wrap up. Interesting and overcoming challenges about running a single op, for example, equipment failures, etc. Yeah, I carry a lot of multiples of everything. I pull a trailer that's bigger than I need because of that. That's certainly one of the things that I have to deal with because, you know, I'm not quite in the same shoes that Jerry is with multiple, you know, with people on standby on a Saturday night. One of the other topics I really want to get into, maybe next episode, Jerry, is I have been fielded actually more than once, and in fact twice in the last week alone. How did you go full time? I think doing this full time is a dream of a lot of people, but the actual nitty gritty, the actual nuts and bolts of how do you actually make it happen? I have written about this once, stepping stones from part time to full time, but I know people need more than just what I shared in there. So, Jer, put some thought into that topic because I know you know, the last couple of years, you did that leap yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I've been doing this for 22 years now, and I just went full time as a multi-op. I went full time 2 years ago.
Yeah. So let's hold off on the how because we're running out of time, but that's something that I want people to know that we're going to address because, yeah, it happened for me 4-ish years ago. I don't remember now. And man, it's been an amazing life ever since. So
that'll probably be one of our discussions that comes up in every single video or every single session we have together. I guarantee that'll come up because to me, that is such a step and it's scary. But here was the thing, like for mine, when I left my full-time job, I was working at a venue and a museum. I was the curator and the director. And I told them back in January, I'm like, you know what, I've got to put my 2 weeks in. And the board of directors was just like, you're kidding, right? I'm like, no, I really want to focus on my business. And we were extremely successful before. But I put my 2 weeks in January. They didn't hire somebody until May. So I basically stuck around until May to help them until they found the right person to step in. And from May, middle of May, in about 15 days, I actually had to hire a full-time person because now I realized as a full-time business, we had to run this like a business and it was no longer a hobby. And I think that's where people forget that, you know, this isn't a hobby anymore. When it becomes a business, you have to treat it like a business, which means you can't go out for $500 anymore. You gotta
which we should end off with doesn't mean you love it or you're any less passionate about it. I know there are a lot of people that say once you treat it like a business, you lose all the mojo and the love of it. Furthest thing from the truth, the moment I stop loving what I do, I'm out.
Yeah.
The money is secondary. The moment I don't love every second of what I do, I'm gone. And none of you will ever hear from me again.
Being gone, that is the end of the show tonight.
Awesome.
But hey guys, like Dave said, you know, feel free to message us. Make sure that you put some comments in the YouTube video. I believe John is going to have this on the DJNTV programs, and we're looking at what, Wednesday nights? Is that correct? Is that where our thought is? Is that?
I think that's what we're going to be planning for, but stay tuned to the social media news feeds, everybody, as we kind of get the schedule worked out. And thanks for bumbling through all this with us because I've never done this before. You've been a guest on a show before, but I think this is maybe my first time. So
yep, I've been fortunate to be on some of the past, but I'm looking forward to this show. No more.
Yeah. So John, special thanks to you. Become a friend. Thank you for giving us this platform to talk from the wedding point of view and you know, from the success that Jared and I have created. We're going to be probably down the road talking about pricing as well. So God, let's not get our backs arched up, everybody, but that's another important topic as well that
like and share this video.
What's that?
I said like and share this video.
There we go. Thanks so much, everyone. Dave Ternier here at DJThought.com.
Jeremy Brech, DJ Jer, shop time. Just, I don't know. Go YouTube it. I don't know. I got nothing.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Good night.